We're going to start with some of the transfer speculation. And let's start with you, Stevie Nicol. This has been very, very fluid. It's not like it changes every hour. It's changing every minute. We'll get to Harry Kane shortly. He supposedly has just left Stansted Airport, bound for Munich. But I want to start with Moses Caicedo. This was the overnight story, and it looked like he was heading to your old club, Liverpool, for about £100 million. But supposedly, he doesn't want to go there. He only wants to play for Chelsea. But Chelsea haven't yet had a bid accepted. What's going on, and where's he going to end up, Stevie?
Well, you'd have to think that Chelsea have to be the favourites. If the player's making it be known that he wants to go to Chelsea rather than Liverpool, then that puts Chelsea, in my opinion, in a strong position. If they can come up with the money, then clearly he goes to Chelsea. As a Liverpool fan, I don't like to hear that, and I don't understand why Caicedo would say that unless he's pretty sure he's going to end up at Chelsea, because if he's trying to suggest Liverpool's not a good destination for him, then he's backing up the wrong tree. So, yeah, I would suggest that Chelsea, having listened to what he's got to say about it, have to be in the driver's seat.
So earlier today, this morning in the UK, Jurgen Klopp had his press conference and did confirm that a fee had been agreed, certainly between the two clubs, but not with the player. But that's a position that Liverpool are looking for, the number 6, that will allow so many others to do what they're really good at and the positions they're really good in. But then this Chelsea, it's not a late move by them. They've had an interest in Moisés Caicedo all summer. But supposedly there was this midnight deadline last night for the clubs to come up with the offers. Liverpool did. Now, where does it leave us? Because if he's not going to go to Liverpool, could Chelsea kind of be a little bit sneaky here and say, well, if he's not going to Liverpool and he's going to us, can you move the amount down a little bit? Where does it leave us with this and with Chelsea's way of potentially manipulating this now?
Well, I think he's sort of moved it on a bit, hasn't he? I mean, we're in a bit of a holding pattern in terms of whether there was going to be a fee agreed with Chelsea and Brighton for the player. But now Liverpool have come in and they've said, well, we're prepared to pay it. So that's got to kick Chelsea into action if they really do want the player. And Caicedo himself has said throughout the summer that he wants to go to Chelsea. He's on record with that. And perhaps he feels that if Chelsea do come up with the money to match what Liverpool have paid, then he should honour that and go to the club. Now, this is obviously going to have a knock-on effect with Tyler Adams, who's at Leeds and was having a medical at Chelsea. And now it sounds like that deal is going to be scuppered because Chelsea are going to need the funds that they were going to use to buy Tyler Adams, about 20 million. They're going to need that to top up what they were prepared to pay for Caicedo. So there is a lot of moving parts to it. It's going to affect other clubs and it's going to affect where Tyler Adams might end up.
Yeah, it's a good point, Dale. I mentioned that Jurgen Klopp faced the press earlier today. Let's find out what he had to say, especially regarding this deal with Moisés Caicedo.
I can confirm that the deal with the club is agreed, whatever that means exactly in the end, because we want the player and not any kind of agreement. We will see. We'll see that. What did change? We are a club. We have not endless resources, so if we didn't expect a couple of things happening in the summer, and stuff like this, we didn't think about that before the summer, to be honest. And when it happened, then we gave it a go, and obviously the club was really stretched it there, to be honest.
Moisés Caicedo playing a dangerous game here, because if he's saying supposedly, and it's sources say this and sources say that he doesn't want to go to Liverpool and he only wants to go to Chelsea. Chelsea haven't had the offer accepted yet, and Roberto De Zerbi at Brighton has basically said, well, we've already moved on from Moisés, even though he hasn't left yet. So is this a gamble from the player?
No. Are you telling me if he stays at Brighton that De Zerbi's not going to play him? I don't think so. I mean, listen, any team pretty much on the planet would like this guy starting as a defensive midfielder for them. I mean, there's no question. I can't really think off the top of my head right now if there's a player in the world that you wouldn't want in that position other than Caicedo. That's how good this guy is. Mm-hmm. And Chelsea and Liverpool in particular, Liverpool are not paying 100 million for a player who isn't as good as we think he is. You know, Liverpool don't spend 100 million on anybody. Yes, they've spent a lot of money on the likes of Alisson and Van Dijk, but we're talking about 80. And for Liverpool to go to that barrier of 100 just tells you how much they think of him. And actually, it tells you how much they need him as well. And that money would be repaid because Liverpool will be so superior with him in the middle of the park next to McAllister and Zlobozlai, taking the pressure off the back line, which has been struggling certainly the last 12 months. So, yeah, this is huge. And don't you worry about it. If he doesn't go anywhere, he's starting for Brighton.
It's a good point about Liverpool needing him, Stevie, because Dale, is it Chelsea or Liverpool that need this player more in the position that he plays? What do you reckon?
I think they both equally need this position filled and need it filled quickly. I mean, you've got to wonder, obviously, Liverpool have been really badly affected by the Saudi Arabian transfer deals. They've lost, obviously, Jordan Henderson, they've lost Fabinho, so they really need someone to come in that can play that kind of role. Now, they spent the last few weeks going after Romeo Lavia of Southampton and bidding an extra 2 million, an extra 5 million, getting to 45, and then all of a sudden they've gone and slapped 111 million on the table for Caicedo. So you just wonder if Liverpool get into a bit of desperation stakes as the season starts, but that doesn't mean that Chelsea also are desperately needing someone to fill in that type of role, which obviously they had Jorginho and Kante to be able to do that last season. Obviously they signed Rice. Chelsea signed Arsenal signed Rice. Jorginho went to Arsenal with Rice. So you just got to say that both clubs are desperately in need of that position to be filled, and I do think Liverpool are starting to get a little bit desperate.
Okay. I think the expectations are different, though. I think the expectations of Liverpool and Chelsea right now are miles apart. You know, the way I see Chelsea right now, it's can they get back to where they were under Abramovich? Can they get back in the top four? That's the way I think of Chelsea right now. Liverpool, on the other hand, they have to be competing for the Premier League. They're not in the Champions League, but if they were, they have to be competing for the Champions League. That's where Liverpool is. Right now they're on a different level to Chelsea. Chelsea have got some wiggle room. If they don't start the season well, then we're all going to understand it's because of what happened last year and the new manager and this and that and no centre forward and bringing new players. I mean, there are so many things changing and things that need to settle down at Chelsea that the expectation isn't there. Liverpool, on the other hand, if they don't start the season well, the pressure is going to be right on them. It's going to be talking about the disasters of last year not being a fluke, being some sort of systemic problem at the club and the defence. And just, there's going to be such a different outlook on if Liverpool don't start well as opposed to Chelsea. And as I said, Liverpool getting Caicedo means that they will be able to challenge for the Premier League title and certainly, hopefully next year, challenging for the Champions League.
Could he be the final piece of the title challenging jigsaw, Stevie? And
100%.
But 100%. Would it be embarrassing for Liverpool if they don't get him, or embarrassing for Chelsea given everything that's happened if they don't get it? Whoever doesn't get him, are they getting egg on their face given what's happened over the past 12 hours?
No, I don't think so. Listen, if you're going to offer 100 million for a player and you don't get him, then that's not down to you. If you try to get a guy who's worth 100 million and you're offering 70, then you do look a bit stupid and you will look as though you'll end up with egg in your face. But when you've offered the going rate, then if it doesn't happen, then it's certainly not down. It's not down to you.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.